I knew I was going to meet him when I was coming to the game, and that's like one of my idols, like the GOAT to me, so he's my favorite player of all time.
Your dream come true. You've made so many dreams come true. Yeah. State Farm knew it had been some time since you'd seen and like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Caitlin Clark recently revealed her 6 all-time favorite basketball players, and the list is full of surprises. Some names make total sense, but a few will leave you stunned. One choice in particular caught everyone off guard when she announced it, leaving the basketball world buzzing. It's a player many fans barely remember, yet Clark admired him deeply. She owned his gear, followed all his games, and his style still shows in how she plays today. But before we get to that unexpected pick, let's begin with the player who inspired it all, the woman Clark called her idol. Maya Moore wasn't just talented, she was dominant. 4 national titles at UConn, 4 WNBA championships with Minnesota, and 2 Olympic golds. She could score, defend, and lead with ease. For a young Caitlin growing up in Iowa, Maya was everything. Whenever someone asked who her favorite player was, her answer never changed. Maya Moore, always Maya Moore.
I know Maya Moore is your favorite player. In a game to 11 against prime Maya Moore, how many points?
11-0, Maya Moore, for sure.
You're not scoring 1 bucket.
I'm not scoring. She's blocking me.
Think about what that really means. Clark didn't just admire Moore's ability to score or shoot. She admired everything about how she played. Moore represented the full picture of greatness: selfless, intelligent, dependable, and clutch when it mattered most. She lifted everyone around her and made winning look effortless. That's exactly what Clark aspired to be. In countless interviews, Clark has shared how she looked up to professional stars growing up, with Maya Moore always leading that list. She watched Moore shine at UConn, then seamlessly carry that dominance into the WNBA, turning victory into an expectation. And here's the part that hits right in the heart. On Iowa's senior night in March 2024, Clark's final home game at Carver Hawkeye Arena, the crowd was roaring, celebrating her incredible journey. Then, out of nowhere, Maya Moore walked onto the court. Clark had no clue it was coming. The surprise was perfect. When they hugged, it was clear how much it meant. Her childhood hero standing right there to honor her.
State Farm knew it had been some time since you'd seen Maya, and like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Maya Moore is there.
Oh my gosh.
That moment perfectly showed how deeply Moore influenced Clark's journey. Just a month later, Clark appeared on Saturday Night Live, and during the Weekend Update segment, she took time to thank 5 trailblazing women who made her career possible: Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, Dawn Staley, and of course, her idol, Maya Moore. Clark understood something vital. These women built the foundation of the WNBA long before it was profitable or popular. They played for the love of the game, not the spotlight, and their sacrifices created the opportunities Clark enjoys today. She never lost sight of that, especially not of Maya Moore. So, what exactly did Clark take from Moore's style? It was the completeness. Moore wasn't just a scorer. At 6 feet tall, she blended guard finesse with forward power. She could post up smaller defenders, shoot over taller ones, and handle the ball like a playmaker. Clark modeled herself the same way. While her shooting gets most of the attention, a closer look shows she's just as versatile, averaging over 8 assists per game, pulling down rebounds, and defending with intensity. That's Maya's blueprint, alive in her game. But Moore wasn't the only influence. There's another name that instantly comes up whenever people talk about Clark: Stephen Curry. And for good reason. Their similarities are undeniable. Both stretch the floor with impossible range, both have lightning-fast releases, and both can dominate a game effortlessly. Clark has said many times she grew up watching Curry, studying his every move. How could she not? He changed basketball forever. Curry proved you didn't have to be towering or unstoppable in the paint to rule the game. You could be a 6 feet 3 inches guard who hit shots from the logo and made defenders look helpless. Before him, a 30-foot jumper was reckless. After him, it was revolutionary, and players like Caitlin Clark turned it into an art form. Clark truly embraced that lesson. Her shooting range seems endless, Defenders have to guard her the moment she crosses half court because if they don't, she'll pull up without hesitation. She's drained shots from the tunnel from the opposite three-point line, even from spots that seem impossible. That's pure Steph Curry influence, the confidence to shoot from anywhere and the precision to actually make it. But here's the twist. Steph Curry himself has addressed those comparisons, and surprisingly, he's not entirely in favor of them. It's not out of criticism, it's out of respect. In an interview with CBS Mornings, Curry said those comparisons actually limit Clark. He explained that people focus too much on her shooting when she's so much more than that. She's nearly averaging triple-doubles, controlling the floor, and ranking among the best passers in the league. Curry's message was clear. Don't reduce her to just a shooter. She's doing everything at an elite level. Coming from the player who changed modern basketball, that's serious praise. And he's right. Clark isn't defined by just her shot, but Curry's influence is still undeniable. Her signature step-back three? That's straight from the Curry playbook, using her handles to create space before firing off a lightning-quick release. Even her confidence, the little celebrations after a deep three, they echo that same Curry energy. Earlier this year, rumors even surfaced about Clark possibly joining a star-studded three-point contest with Curry, Klay Thompson, and Sabrina Ionescu. It didn't happen, but just the idea of it shows how far she's come, from watching Curry to being mentioned alongside him. Clark's representatives later confirmed she wouldn't be attending, most likely to recover from a demanding rookie season. Still, the fact that her name was even part of that conversation shows how much respect she's earned from NBA stars. And when it comes to those NBA legends, Clark hasn't been shy about giving credit. She's called LeBron James the greatest of all time. But for pure shooting inspiration, that crown belongs to Steph Curry. Clark studied how he dismantled defenses, moving without the ball, shooting off the dribble, and pulling up from impossible distances. Curry showed her the art of limitless range, and Clark took that blueprint and made it her own. But now comes the surprising twist. The next name on Clark's all-time favorites list stunned everyone: Jimmer Fredette. Yes, the BYU sharpshooter who became a college basketball phenomenon for 2 unforgettable seasons before his NBA career fizzled out. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a casual fan. She was obsessed. Picture this. It's 2011. Jimmer Fredette is a senior at Brigham Young University, dropping nearly 30 points a game and hitting threes from places no one else would dare. He leads BYU to the Sweet 16, wins National Player of the Year, and becomes a full-blown cultural moment. Arenas sell out. Fans chant his name. Teach Me How to Jimmer, a remix of Teach Me How to Dougie, goes viral on YouTube. And a 9-year-old Caitlin Clark is glued to the screen. She watched every game, memorized every move. Clark and her cousins tuned in religiously, and when there wasn't a live game, she'd replay Jimmer's highlights online, studying his step-backs, his fearless 30-foot pull-ups, and that smooth, forward-shifting release. She even owned a Teach Me How to Jimmer t-shirt. That wasn't just fandom, that was full-blown inspiration. Jump ahead to 2024. ESPN Plus drops an episode of Sue Bird's show Sue's Places, and guess who shows up at Iowa's Carver Hawkeye Arena? Jimmer Fredette, there to meet Caitlin Clark in person. During the episode, Clark tells Bird and Fredette the whole story, how she remembered every moment of his legendary tournament run, how she and her cousins watched every game, and how she'd been a massive Jimmer fan since childhood. Fredette couldn't stop smiling. Imagine one of the greatest women's players ever telling you that she modeled part of her game after you. Then comes the fun part. They set up a 3-point contest. Clark versus Jimmer. Sue Bird picks the shooting spots by dragging around a giant cutout of her own face, because of course she does. Both Clark and Jimmer drain their first 2 shots with ease, so Bird decides to crank up the difficulty. She moves the next spot out of bounds. Clark steps up and drains it. Jimmer follows, and misses off the rim. Next, they take shots from the bleachers. Clark misses, and Jimmer doesn't even bother trying. Final score, 3-2, Clark. And then, classic Caitlin Clark. She turns to Bird and Fredette and says with a grin, "It's been fun hanging out with 2 people who invented the 3-point shot." That's the perfect mix of confidence and humor that defines her. She beat her childhood hero and then teased him for it. Vintage Clark. But here's why Jimmer Fredette truly belongs on her list. He taught Clark a lesson that shaped her entire career, that you don't need to be an NBA legend to inspire others. Fredette wasn't a global superstar, but his college run showed Clark what was possible. That one player, with enough range and courage, could capture the world's attention. He proved that college basketball could capture the world's attention if you played with enough confidence and flair. He showed that long-range shooting could be both thrilling and effective. Clark has even said her signature step-back three is hard to trace back to one source because she learned from so many players, but she specifically mentioned Jimmer as one of the ones she studied most. That forward-leaning shooting form he used? Clark adopted it too. When she fires those deep threes, she's moving into the shot, using her body's momentum to create power. That's straight from Jimmer's playbook. And sure, Jimmer's NBA career didn't take off. He averaged just over 7 points as a rookie in Sacramento and eventually played overseas and later joined Team USA's 3x3 squad. But none of that changes his impact. His college run lit a spark in a 9-year-old girl from Iowa who realized that shooting from impossible distances could actually work. That's influence. That's legacy. The Jimmer Fredette obsession might seem like the most surprising piece of Clark's story, but it's also one of the most meaningful. It proves she wasn't just inspired by the biggest names, she learned from anyone who brought creativity and joy to the game. And that leads to the next name on her list, the player who shaped her complete approach to basketball, LeBron James, the king himself. In Caitlin Clark's eyes, the greatest of all time.
I knew I was going to meet him when I was coming to the game, and that's like one of my idols. Like, LeBron is the GOAT to me, so I don't know, it was just like a crazy moment where I got to meet him in the back, and then for him to go out of his way and like wish me luck on the season. And he really does follow the WNBA, and he watches and he loves and appreciates basketball, and he loves and appreciates the way the Fever and my teammates play. And I mean, it's just really cool. I saw that. I didn't see it before the game, but obviously a lot of people had sent it to me after the game. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I thought it was kind of fake at first, but he's my favorite player of all time. I mean, you never know in today's world, I guess. I didn't know. I was like, wait, is this actually LeBron James? I knew the picture was real because I knew that was me, but yeah, it was pretty incredible. Like,
not Michael Jordan, not Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. And when you watch how Clark plays, it's easy to see why he made her list. LeBron isn't just a scorer. Sure, he's got over 40,000 career points. But that's not what defines him. What defines LeBron is his vision, his control of the game, and his ability to elevate everyone around him. He's 6 feet 9 inches, 250 pounds, yet he moves and thinks like a point guard. He directs the offense, reads defenses like a chess master, and consistently puts his teammates in positions to succeed. Sound familiar? Caitlin Clark plays the same way. She's a guard who can drop 40 when she wants, but her instinct is to make her team better. In her rookie WNBA season, Clark broke the all-time single-season assist record, averaging over 8 assists per game and becoming the first rookie ever to record a triple-double. That's not just scoring dominance, that's LeBron-level playmaking. Clark has said she grew up watching LeBron, and it shows. Like him, she values the right play over the highlight play. LeBron will pass up an open layup to kick it out for a wide-open three. Clark does the same thing. She'll draw 3 defenders on a drive, then zip a pass to a teammate in perfect rhythm. That's smart, selfless, championship basketball. That's LeBron-style basketball through and through. And here's the really amazing part. LeBron actually watches Caitlin Clark play. He's tweeted about her, praised her publicly, and shown real support for her and the Fever. Before one of Clark's games, fans sent her screenshots of LeBron's tweets cheering her on. Clark's reaction was pure gratitude. That's one of my idols. LeBron is the GOAT to me. He really follows the WNBA, he watches, he respects the game, and he appreciates how my teammates and I play. That kind of mutual respect is special. Clark grew up watching LeBron dominate the NBA, and now LeBron is watching her dominate the WNBA. Both have carried massive expectations since day one. LeBron was called the chosen one before he even played an NBA game. Clark had every college matchup nationally televised, with millions tuning in to see if she could deliver. Both did, and both exceeded the hype. What Clark absorbed from LeBron wasn't just his power or skill, it was his complete package mindset. LeBron never wanted to be known solely as a scorer. He wanted to master every aspect of basketball. Clark thinks the same way. She wants to score, yes, but she also wants to lead, distribute, rebound, defend, to influence every possession. That's LeBron's fingerprint all over her game. But Clark didn't just learn from modern stars. She also studied one of the greatest showmen in basketball history, Pete Maravich, better known as Pistol Pete. The LSU legend scored 3,667 points in just 3 college seasons, a record that stood for more than 50 years, until Caitlin Clark broke it in March 2024. Clark's been compared to Maravich since her high school days, and she embraces it. She's watched his highlights, studied his creativity, and even laughed when people started calling her Ponytail Pete. And that comparison goes far beyond scoring totals. Pistol Pete didn't just put up points. He did it with artistry. No-look passes, behind-the-back dribbles, off-balance shots from angles that seemed impossible. He played basketball like performance art, and Clark has carried that same flair into the modern game. He was an entertainer in every sense. Pete Maravich made basketball feel like a spectacle. Every dribble, every pass, every shot had flair. And Caitlin Clark plays the same way. Her passes are daring, her confidence unshakable. She'll whip a behind-the-back assist on a fast break that leaves defenders spinning, then nail a deep step-back 3 and hold her follow-through while staring down the crowd. That's the Pistol Pete swagger, alive in modern form. Diana Taurasi, one of the greatest women's players ever, once called Clark Pete Maravich with a ponytail. That comparison goes deeper than Flash. It's about imagination. Maravich saw basketball differently. He didn't just follow plays. He created them. He trusted his instincts, played freely, and made magic out of chaos. Clark does exactly that. She attempts passes that would get most players benched, but she pulls them off perfectly. When Clark shattered Maravich's all-time NCAA scoring record on March 3, 2024, against Minnesota, it was historic. That mark had stood untouched since 1970, 54 years. Maravich set it in just 3 seasons, long before the three-point line even existed. Most people thought it would never fall. But Clark did it, and the basketball world exploded in celebration. Clark has often said she prides herself on doing everything for her team, scoring, facilitating, rebounding, leading. That's pure Maravich energy. He averaged over 44 points a game in college, but still dished out 6.5 assists. He wasn't just a scorer, he was a creator. Clark's game mirrors that same balance. Her vision, improvisation, and flair make every possession unpredictable. She doesn't just run plays, she paints with the ball. That's the true legacy of Pistol Pete living through Caitlin Clark. Basketball is art. And now, we come to the final name on her list, a modern legend whose scoring versatility helped shape Clark's offensive mindset, Kevin Durant. KD, one of the purest scorers in basketball history. Clark hasn't spoken about him as often as Curry or LeBron, but when you watch her play, his fingerprints are there. Durant, a nearly 7-footer with guard skills, redefined what unguardable looks like, and Clark clearly took notes. Kevin Durant's game is poetry in motion. Mid-range, three-point line, it doesn't matter. His jumper is effortless, smooth, and nearly impossible to guard. He can break you down one-on-one or pick you apart by creating for others. Defending Durant is a losing battle. Take away the 3, he'll punish you from mid-range. Close out hard, he'll blow by you. Double him, he'll find the open man. Caitlin Clark channels that same energy. At 6 feet tall, she's got size most guards don't, and she uses it. She shoots over smaller defenders, backs them down in the post when there's a mismatch, and attacks the rim with fearless contact finishes. And like Durant, if you take away one option, she'll simply pivot to another. That adaptability, that ability to score from anywhere, is what makes her such a nightmare to defend. What's interesting is how this connection came full circle. In March 2025, during Women's Empowerment Month, the Phoenix Suns posted a video asking players to name their favorite female athlete. Most said Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Maya Moore or Serena Williams? Durant's answer? Angel Reese. No explanation, no follow-up, just Reese. Now, that doesn't mean Durant doesn't respect Clark. He's a true basketball purist, someone who appreciates greatness in all its forms. Still, it's ironic. Clark modeled parts of her offensive game after Durant's, and Durant publicly shouted out her biggest rival. Basketball has a funny way of writing its own storylines. But regardless of Durant's preferences, the influence is undeniable. Clark studied his game, the rhythm, the efficiency, the versatility, and built her own scoring arsenal from it. Like KD, she's learned how to make every inch of the court her territory. Durant taught Caitlin Clark that height is a gift, something to use, not hide. He showed her that you can dominate as both a scorer and a creator, blending power and finesse into one seamless game. His influence may not be as obvious as others on her list, but it's there. Clark didn't just borrow one move from Durant. She adopted his entire mindset: be unpredictable, be complete, and master every inch of the court. That's how you become unstoppable. Clark never modeled herself after a single player. She became a student of the game itself. She studied what made each legend great and combined those lessons into a style that's uniquely hers. That's why she's so difficult to defend. She's a mix of 6 different playstyles, all harmonized into one evolving force. Even if you think you've figured her out, she's already doing something new. As Clark once said, even if you're not intentionally mimicking, you're absorbing what you consume. And she consumed it all. She watched WNBA icons who laid the foundation, NBA stars who reshaped the game, and even college standouts who burned brightly for a short time. From all of it, she built a blueprint that's now inspiring the next wave. Kids everywhere are watching Caitlin Clark the same way she once watched Maya Moore. They're wearing her jersey, the way she once wore a Jimmer Fredette shirt. They're out in driveways practicing those deep step-back threes because they saw her drain one from 35 feet out. And that's how the game evolves. Influence turns into legacy, and legacy sparks new influence. A decade from now, a young player will enter the WNBA and say, Caitlin Clark was my favorite player growing up. Her name will join the same list of legends she once studied. That's the beauty of basketball. Greatness inspires greatness. Caitlin Clark's list of favorite players reveals exactly who she is. A student of the game who honors its history, embraces every style, and learns from everyone. WNBA trailblazers, NBA superstars, or college sensations. She took the best of them all and transformed it into something the basketball world had never seen before.